Did you decide long time ago that hope is for the weak and you too strong to still relying on the hope? And even when you give the hope a chance, it failed you and it was a lost cause and that doesn't matter anymore. You get to trust your mind that will lead you in the right direction. Does that sound familiar? I hope it does, because I've been through those situations myself multiple times until I start realizing that it's time to give the hope a chance and to actually see that difference and create more of that bigger picture and cohesion to experience the true power of the hope. And this week we're talking more about the physicality, but really that power, that inner power of that hope comes from four elements of physicality, mental, emotional, and spiritual components of it, because that's where that true power lies of the hope and of your power. It's That's the issues you're having with the hope, and that's actually to create that difference and to start spotting that difference and experience that difference when you start operating more from that inner wisdom, your inner home, in from your wholeness, not just like a brainiac, a controlling one, analyzing one, that allowing mind to take charge. And there is power to the mind, there is power to the body, there is power to the heart, there is power to the spirit. And can you picture when you actually unite all of them and come from that cohesion of all those inner powers, how powerful you can become without any force or control, but from that inner knowing, inner wisdom, and that serving for you, that you feel more confident, that you feel actually stronger than ever before, and feel like you can move the mountains and keep asking for guidance of your higher self, your inner self, your spirit, to guide you, to lead you, and to take aligned actions and practice more. When that difference actually become more present, when you start seeing in yourself and start seeing in the actions of the others, when it becomes pretty obvious that well, that actually action that was taken is most likely from being too much in the mind, and a lot of from the fear and some doubts that were put it there. And you start recognizing that also that separation and that difference that start happening, the more you start practicing the new way you want to stand in your true power and not force, and really experience life force actually flowing through you. So I'm not talking the force that is your life force, but the force that dominating authoritative force that you think that you get to keep pushing through to get somewhere, to get in life. And for us women, somehow we gave a lot of that inner power to that control of the mind and control that was experienced from the others. We somehow think ourselves to somehow be more submissive and to be on board, because we were kind of taught multiple times that you have to behave certain way, by certain expectations, by certain rules, by certain systems, certain standards, either in all kinds of environments that you working through and relearning. Sometimes the mind is actually burning from all, even just the passwords that you have to remember, how many systems you have to remember, how many rules, how many laws. And me being actually in real estate industry for 20 years, yes, sometimes I feel that my mind cannot take anymore, that is overflowing with all rules and regulations. And actually, after practicing that for a couple of years on the East Coast, I moved to the West Coast and had to relearn the new systems and rules. I thought and redo the exam. Exam maybe were similar, but they didn't allow me to transfer my license, because it was different state, different rules. So I had to kind of still do the exam, still have to go to school, and putting much more into my head, and then start practicing and learning new systems, new forms, and all that. That was, and then there were some new rules came. There was different shifts in the markets. So I lasted for 20 years, and got to the point over the last 7 when I start expanding, because I knew that I cannot expand. My mind was expanding. I had the formal degree, so I felt like my brain cells were expanding, but they can go so far. So that required more of that inner knowing, and it actually led me through some of the journey, a very physical journey of my body, to tune more to my body, to learn more about how to utilize my intuition and keep moving from that intuition to some healings, inner healing of my emotions that many times were not really processed out of the busyness of life. I thought that's my design system, to store them in my body, to push them through my mind, and that created more of that cohesion, and miracles were experienced. So that's actually how you get to start realizing and start working with your mind to get more on board in a more willing way, not forceful way. And remind yourself when you somehow feeling you way too much to your head. And I know that it's might be challenging to get yourself back, but see if you can picture, remind yourself, recall from your memory some, even the tiniest miracle that you experience, that something happened, that there wasn't much of expectations. You never thought that that's something can happen, and you recognize that it felt and it looked and it tasted, and it, like a miracle, true miracle, that it wasn't so much effort that was put in, there wasn't much force that you put in. It was actually, hopefully you start recognizing that was actually letting go, and letting your spirit to guide you when more of that power and strength is present, and your presence is more solid, and in that unity and cohesion within your mind, your body, your heart, and your spirit, where you can actually move the mountains. And that's that difference when we were talking about how to kind of get your mind on board with that miracle memory, to create a different experience, and to shift back to that cohesion of an operation from the wholeness that can be created. And then you start recognizing, especially as visionary women's leaders, where we start recognizing that we rising to the power, we saying no more of those expectations, no more of living somebody else's life. I want to live my own life. So you have that chance, and start recognizing that it's not somehow rebellion, but your power is rising, and using that for the good, to create your legacy, and start living that legacy on a daily basis, and showing to others that it's possible for them. It starts with your closest environment, your family, your loved ones, to friends, to associates, team members, where you can really start creating more of that true difference, being more of that grounded leader and authentic leader, with the hope. And then you experience that really through true power of that hope, total hope, and that comes from your inner power, and you can keep moving forward. That the trust becoming stronger, even because that's kind of the prelude to the trust. When there's no hope, it's harder to do the trust, and it's easier when even less trust is present, and you allowing for the mind to override that. I cannot trust the hope. It's harder to move to deeper trust, and allowing for things to unfold, that you don't have to be in charge of everything. Yes, you get to take more aligned actions, and from the guidance, inner guidance and wisdom, and not forceful one, because that can be detrimental for you, for your mental stability, emotional stability, body stability, and this connection where more that really it's hard to experience presence of your spirit when you just kind of running like a chicken without the head. So, and it started happening more and more. So when you start practicing more of that, that's why it's needed to show to more people that they start panicking and experience, and they don't understand why they're here, what they get to do to create more of that loving, joyful, peaceful, light, compassionate presence for themselves, to be of service to others. So you get to kind of be that role model, and to come in that community, to create more of that immunity, and ripple that to your communities, to your environments, that more kind of is notified that they can expand their conscious and awakening to their potential. So that's that power, and some practical tools that you want to keep putting when before you join a community, and even between community calls and coming gathering together. There's some simple practical steps that you could be taking to create that reconnection for even a few minutes, to create that presence. One of my favorite one that I continue to utilize on a daily basis is to put my hands on my heart, and sometimes even more powerful, and sometimes closing eyes if it's possible, and taking some deeper breath, create that presence, and create more of that ease in the body, because you're touching your body, you're touching your heart, and it flows to your mind, and your mind feels safe within the body, and with the heart, and ready to be more open, and ready to be more on board. Even more powerful, our second kind of brain is in our stomach, in our guts. So if you put one of the hands on your stomach, and other on your heart, it creates even that more easier flow, and create more of that inner safety and groundness for you to experience, and then operating from that, and definitely the more of that hope and more of the trust is showing up, and ability to take more aligned actions from your inner knowing, inner wisdom, operating from your inner home, when you making a true difference for yourself, but also for others, and living your legacy, not just leaving one behind. So that those are some practical tips. You might have some. I would love to hear if you're willing to share them in the comment sections. What other practices are helpful for you? It doesn't have to be complicated. Our mind is a really creative one and very powerful one, but many times overcomplicates things to keep us safe. That really primitive instincts kind of kicking in, and start recognizing more and more at what point those instincts kicking in, at what point that our inner knowing, our intuition, from that cohesion of our mind, our body, our heart, and our spirit is showing up. At some point you start experience that difference, and it becomes more clear, but you get to allow for that to happen. Otherwise, is that disconnection can lead to a lot of turmoil, inner turmoil, and that disconnection, it just takes you so far. You will create some burnout, after pushing your body, your mind, and your heart with the closeness so far, and not moving through your emotions, because emotions are energy in motions. But more on that throughout the month of May, when we will be touching more on the mental, emotional, and spiritual levels of the hope. And that's kind of I get to kind of talk about the home and the power, the home, inner home, operating from the home. And this year seems to be that those words from the beginning of the year starts with H, to somehow amplify that power of operation from the home. And this week is the hope, and how that power of the hope kind of come to operating from that inner hope home, and how that can create that legacy. So trust that all is helpful and bring some inspiration and empowerment, and inviting you to join the community. You can follow me on Instagram under Awaken Woman Club. There is a website, awaken-women.com, where you can touch bases with me and connect. I would love for you to connect with me and expand our presence, and see if there is a potential for some true co-creation is possible. And that's what I'm about. And also I believe you can subscribe to the channel, and keeps checking on the lives that I'm coming live, and bringing more of that inspiration for visionary leaders and heart center women, especially in mid-age. So sending much love, joy, peace, light, and compassion, and see you around. Take care.